everybody. Welcome to Mental Capacity. Is this 13?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh my God, we're teenagers. We're totally teenagers now. Um,
I know, right?
yeah, like reason for the, teen look. Like a what is this 90s teen? Is this what it looks like? A 90s teen or
Also,
80s?
also, Storm. I keep telling you this, Storm.
I forgot about that. Okay, you're right. You're right. I have to do Storm again. I'm telling you, I love to play her as a an actual like in an actual movie. But if they want an authentic Storm, I can't really do the African accent that well. I have to learn which I know I can learn it. It's just going to take a minute, but I'm also not dark skinned either, which the real Storm is darker tone. So, well, I mean, yeah, but she also has more legs than I do.
Not that part. That part.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's more like the Amazonian queen. I'm not Amazon at all. I am the opposite. I look more close to an Oompa Loompa than I do to that. So, I mean, it is what it is. I got like
You said it, not me.
I know, but like I'm a cute person. I'm aware of that. I'm not that short. I'm just saying I'm closer to that than I am to Amazon by look. So
Right.
anyway, I'm drinking kombucha. So
Nice.
yeah, it's a Trader Joe's type kombucha. They are the only ones that carry these that I know of. And it's like a berry one. I got my mom to buy all
Yeah.
six. She was like, I'm gonna try all of these. So it's pretty good.
Everything's better when it comes to Trader Joe's.
Yeah, I did have a weird situation at Trader Joe's last Sunday by an employer. I mean, yeah, an employee. And I didn't have on any wigs or anything like that. I had just came from a head and scalp massage and my hair got wet and I didn't have a chance to do it. Okay, I just like threw it back. And my bangs, because they're layered, they like to pop out every now and then. I'm like, oh, great. Black women, our hair, if it's natural, it usually just sticks around, right? Literally, wherever it wants to. So I said, I'm not going back home, which is out of my way, to fix my hair and then go grocery shopping. So I just went straight to the store, went grocery shopping at Trader Joe's. And I was like, I just look like this. I don't care. Like, I just really don't care at this point. So I go up to the sample table and there was like apple and cheese inside of the little sample cups. And this white guy who works there, I'm the only one there, by the way. I'm picking up the sample cup, I'm about to put it in my mouth, and he goes, "The type of cheese that won't lie to you if your hair looks bad." Yep. And I was like, "What the fuck just happened?" So I had to process that for a good minute. I called my mom. I called Jasmine. I was like, let me just like think about this because I don't want to jump to
Process.
conclusions. Right. And unfortunately, it took me like 15, 20 minutes to really process it. I was already out of the store, driven away from it and everything. And I called the manager at Trader Joe's and I told him what happened. And he was like, I am so sorry that happened to you. I'm pretty sure he was just trying to be funny. Doesn't mean it was right. I said, yeah, but the thing is, us Black women are constantly having to prove that we look, we are pretty and everything like that because of certain aspects that we're born with that other people are not okay with, like our hair. I said
Right.
it's not right that we always have to try to make ourselves look presentable to people like him, where he doesn't quite understand that we are beautiful just because of how we are. So I said he got the right one today because if it was anybody else, they probably would have popped him in the mouth. So yeah, he was like, "Do you want anything?" I was like, "No, I don't want anything." I said, "I just don't ever want him to say anything like that again." That was it. So yeah,
Yeah. You say this shit to somebody ratchet. That's gonna be
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, he got the right one because it was if it was anyone else, even my mom would have really tore him up. Um, And I was just shocked. Like, I knew my hair didn't look good. I was aware, but I don't need you to come up to me and say that. Like, who's gonna say that to me unless they actually know me?
Right.
Anyway, off that. You're supposed to be
That was a good story,
interrogating
John.
me.
Okay. So we came up with this, or I came up with this, because as y'all know, I watch a lot of like dating shows like Pop the Balloon and all of that, or
Yeah.
Find Love, which hilarious, by the way. I love those.
Yeah.
But a reoccurring question that always gets asked is, how do you feel about going 50-50 in a relationship? And so, like, I hear people give the explanations of it, and like it seems like 90, I probably say like 80% of the people be like, I'd never do 50-50, yada yada yada. And so, being a man, we get the short end of the stick on that 50-50 stuff. But before we really delve into it, I want to get your opinion on it. So, how do you feel about going 50-50 in a relationship?
So is it 50-50 as in bills or dates or both?
So they only talk about it in a financial aspect,
Okay. Yeah.
but I think that it goes deeper than that, and I think that's what I'm gonna like expound upon like as we go throughout it. But
Mm-hmm.
let's just assume we're talking mostly financial.
Okay, so I had a guy who would not actually have a relationship with me because I expressed I would prefer a 50-50 split. His thing was he wanted to take care of the woman, which is fine, right? That's totally fine. I get his point of it, but I don't feel like he felt he didn't feel as much of a man if he didn't, and the reason he didn't come out and say that, but everything he said always ended up with, I gotta pay this, I gotta pay that, I'm the man, that's what men's supposed to do, right? And that's cool if you want to pay for the house, the car, the whatever, because that's what you want to do is provide. I understand. My reasons for saying I would prefer a 50-50 split is because I've seen people in marriages who, of course, got married, didn't expect to ever get divorced, right? And nothing is in the woman's name. Nothing. It all went to the man because it was legally his. So it left the woman with nothing. And I told myself after I saw one of my friends go through that, and I knew somebody else who went through it, I said, I never want to go through that, because that is the most devastating thing when you are a stay-at-home mom and you take care of the kids, you clean the house, you take care of him when he's at home, you cook the meals, you do the laundry, you do all of that homemade, like home ec type stuff, I should say. And then the whole marriage goes to shit, and you guys get divorced and everything is in his name. So of course they have to go to, they have to go through the whole like divorce, court hearings and things like that. But at the end of the day, it was still like, hey, this is all in your name. Divorce takes a long time. It's not like a tomorrow type situation, especially here in the Bible Belt. Like, you got to go through a separation of a year, and then you can proceed with divorce.
Right.
And if your partner is one of those petty people, it's going to take a lot longer. So that I never wanted to go through that nothing's mine type situation, or him saying, I pay for this. This is my house. Like, that's why I said it. But I don't think that he was understanding my reasons for it. All he could think of was, what do you need me for? You know what I mean? So I just think if you are 1000% sure that you're gonna marry this person, you're never gonna get divorced, and you're always gonna be in love with each other, then yeah, do it. Like, let the guy pay 100% of everything. But there's never 100% or 1000% on that, unless she just saves her money
So
and does whatever.
so even with that, like I would say to always have a backup plan even with that. And like for
Yeah,
example, my dad, my was my stepdad, but I call him my dad, right?
yeah,
So he passed in 2017, but he paid everything, and like he completely took care of my mom. And
yeah,
so it doesn't even necessarily have to be divorce. It can be a situation where your partner, suddenly passes, and then
exactly.
all of a sudden now you have to learn like how to pay bills or who to talk to when this happened or that happened or things like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I actually didn't even think about that aspect of it, of making sure that you would be good in a situation of in case it was split.
Right. But also to think about it this way, if he has a good job, but then you never know what can happen with that job. Like economy, you know how our stuff is. It goes up and down quite often. So say he's the only one working and he doesn't have a good enough savings account that's going to take care of the entire household for a year or so, however long he might be out of work. Because you didn't expect to be out of work as long as you were out of work, you know?
Yeah.
So um and the woman doesn't have a job, she has never worked, or her last job was 10 years ago, you know what I mean? Like it's hard to get back into that job market, and especially if you have such a huge gap of time, and then say if she gets back in the work, she's not actually going to make enough money to sustain the entire household unless she's like a doctor or something, and she still has to redo up some licenses and stuff. If she's a doctor, it's been 10 years, so I just always think it's best to have two people working as a partnership, not where one is completely taking care of the other and the entire household. It burns a man out too. So I just don't think it's fair in that way. That's not how I see it. I don't see it as take care of me, take care of me. I want us to take care of each other. This world is hard enough.
Okay. So if in people that have like those hundreds, like where the man take care of everything, so in those things, what do you feel like a woman's like job would be as far as like what they would bring to the table in those situations? Because that's one thing that I always feel like don't equate. Maybe you can speak to this better, like being a woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, if I'm paying all the bills and everything, and then all you really bring it to the table is sex. You get
Well,
that.
so here's the situation I know for a fact from some of my married friends. Sex is not always what they bring to the table either. Like,
That is
yeah,
also true.
yes,
I've been in relationships like
yep. Some of them don't even like having sex. They see it as a chore. I think they're crazy because I personally love it. But I've never seen it as a chore either, though. So that's how I still enjoy sex. It's a bonding experience for me with the person I'm with. So if they're not bringing sex, they're not bringing food to the table, they're not cleaning the house, they're not doing this, and that, then you need to have a talk with your partner and really figure out where you guys are going to be doing a give and take instead of just a take, and a give, because it's not fair to either party, So the the actual definition, or I should say the verbal definition of marriage and relationships in general, have changed since 17 1800s to now, right? Back then,
yeah,
marriage was done for property reasons, for money purposes, to create a legacy and maintain the household, so like the woman was actually given to the guy for those reasons, right? It had nothing to do with love, like at all. They sometimes were in love after the fact, or sometimes they were in love before, and that was if they were lucky enough to go through that, right? So, and that's of course like higher society and things like that. um so now marriage and relationships are for, I love the person, I want to be with them. But people don't realize love is not the only thing that you need to sustain a relationship. Like you have to have and I know you know this from experience too. That you got to
I
have,
had to learn the lesson a lot.
right, you got to have communication, as in proper and open communication. You have to have understanding of the other person, not always you wanting to be heard, but you wanting to be able to understand where they're coming from as well. You got to understand your weaknesses and your strengths and theirs as well. Like there's a lot to, oh, and trust, there's a lot to a relationship, and it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. So I think that people a lot of times when they get married young are crazy. You don't even know who the hell you are yet. Like you still growing, your brain's still developing until you're 25. And by the time you turn 25, you start changing yourself and things you like and stuff like that too, and a little bit after that. So I just think that it's very commercialized now, a lot, where people are just jumping in and out of relationships, or they just stay with somebody because they're afraid to be alone. What's Barkley doing?
So he's on the bed and he does this thing to where he just like starts rolling like crazy. And like I'm hearing all this noise in my back. What the hell is this?
I know when dogs do that. That's funny when they do that. I saw him walking around just now on your bed.
Yeah, hold on. I'm on.
Yeah, make an appearance, Barkley. He trips me out every time he comes up to the camera. He just starts licking.
Yeah, that's his thing. But so to bring it back to what we were talking about,
Yeah.
so I've been in relationships to where like I've been miserable in terms of like not having that emotional support that I felt like I deserved from my partner.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time, we had gotten to an argument, and I was telling her about like, hey, like the world is tough. Like as a man,
Mm-hmm.
like as a man of color,
Yeah.
like there's a lot of pressures and things that the world puts on you that you got to fight with every day. And she goes, well, I'm not going to solve all your problems. And to which I told her, I was like, hey, I didn't ask you to solve all my problems. I just asked you not to be another one.
Facts. Facts. That was such a defensive response. What I'm saying? Like she had put up a defense, like, well, what you want from me, basically. And I hate when people do that because it has a lot of times nothing to do with it. It just has everything to do with the fact that they're wanting to confide in you and tell you this because they trust you, or trying to see if they do trust you in that way. But I remember you telling me one time with one of your now exes that she wasn't letting you be emotional. You know what I mean? Like you were, or I'm not even saying emotional, because emotions literally come from happiness, sadness, anger, all the things are emotions, right? We call things emotional if we cry, which is the stupidest thing ever. But you were being,
He wasn't a safe space.
yeah, you were thinking it was a safe space to open up and actually express your feelings, but you weren't, because you were with this person. You were thinking, okay, I can trust her, but you couldn't. And so you and I ended up talking, and I was like, I'm mad because that's not how you're supposed to treat someone that you care about. You're supposed to actually listen to them and figure out what you could do together in that aspect. I actually have a really good story that just happened today about emotions. And so you know how you
All ears.
I know. So you know how you posted on your Facebook page about what you rate yourself on the emotional scale, and I said 10 because of the combo thing. But I do believe I am high on the scale for that, because, and I will say Jasmine and I both have worked on it together in that aspect. Of course, we're best friends. We're going to have issues. We're not, the type of best friends that never fight. Please. Like our first year we fought like crazy. It was interesting. So, but we've grown to where we listen to the other person, we hear where they're coming from, and we apologize for where we have made the situation more difficult, right? So, and that's what happened today. And I told her how I was feeling about something that happened years ago. I just didn't know how to express myself at the time, so I just kind of left it alone. But it was brought up again a little bit, and I was like, well, I'm gonna tell you how I felt about this particular person in that situation that we were in. And she said, I'm so sorry, best friend, for making you feel that way. Yeah, that was never my intention. I never want to hurt you. Thank you for listening to me when I expressed to you that wasn't how I saw it. And I was like, of course. And I feel the same way about you being able to tell me that you didn't see it that way. It wasn't your intentions to hurt me or anything like that. And then, of course, I went ahead and told her she could still be friends with that person. I was like, you can still be friends with that person. I just want nothing to do with her. you know? So, and she said, I understand that. And literally, that was it. Like, no bad feelings, no nothing. So, and then right after that, she called me about the kids. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, we, you say what you need to say to someone you feel like you can actually be open and honest with, and that they hear you. And if they really care about your relationship with them, they will listen to you instead of trying to just speak to be heard. Because most of the time, people they speak to say something, not necessarily say anything that means something or that's going to benefit you, you know?
Yeah. Well, I wanna give my take on the 50-50 thing because we got to hear from you, and so I really want to give my part of it, right?
Yeah, of course.
So the way I feel about it is I don't believe in 50-50,
Okay.
but I also don't believe in 100-0. I believe that it should be 100 and 100.
Yeah.
Like, because if you, because like you get it all the time where people are, oh, well, what are you bringing to the table? Like, you should bring the best version of you. And whatever it is that you can bring to make this union a better union, then that's what you need to bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care if you got money, I don't care, like, whatever you bring, that's fine because the other person is always going to feel resentful if they feel like you're holding something back. And I don't think that everything is financial.
Right.
Like, in every relationship I paid for most of, if not, everything, right? And it's never been a situation because I've always been the type, like, not even in relationships, like even in friendships, like if we going out and you ain't got it, I got you.
I'm like that too.
Like, that's what it is, because I believe in taking care of people. But a lot of people get caught up in oh, I don't, the man pays the bills, so the woman, cook, clean, take care of the kids. Bro, that's your house too.
Facts.
Those are your kids too. Like, there's things that you have to pitch in on certain things that she needs to pitch on certain things. Like, if I make more money than you and I pay the majority of the bills, like, man, pay the little $50 internet bill, or, you know what I'm saying, pick up a Netflix bill, or, you know what I'm saying, like,
they add up.
right.
Yeah.
But I feel like everybody should, I don't want to say necessarily put her on weight, but put her on weight to make sure that everything goes smoothly, because I think where people really get it misconstrued is the fact that your partner is your partner.
Right. Right.
Like, you have to contribute part of what goes into making it good. Like our podcast, like me and you are partners. And
Right.
like, whenever it's stuff that we have to discuss about the pod, we're gonna discuss it. I ain't gonna say, oh, well, you deal with it, or you do this,
Right.
or you do that. Like, it's a partnership. And so that's the thing that really makes me, this new generation, yeah, it's screwed. Like, trying to date this generation. Well, because like I watch those shows a lot, and a lot of the dudes on there, the first thing they want to lead with is money.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I make 6 figures, or I do this, or I do that. That's fine.
Yep.
Like, if your girl need advice, how are you gonna handle that? If your girl has a bad day and needs a shoulder to cry on, how do you react in those situations? If there's a spider in the house and the spider gotta die, how do you handle that situation? Like, there's a lot more that a man should be involved with in the relationship than just, I give you money. And I feel like women should contribute more than, I give you sex, I clean, and I make sure that, the kids are straight.
Right.
So
I agree.
that's my aspect of it.
No, I totally agree. Well, you had asked me financially, and I said it's all right, 50-50. But I do agree with you on the 100-100, because a relationship is a duty. It's not always going to be fun. If you're going to put that time and that work, That was a hard shake. But if you're gonna put that time and that work in with someone, it's not going to be easy. They're not you, you're not them. You have separate brains, separate thoughts on things, separate personalities. There's going to be sometimes you're going to butt heads, but you're going to have to make sure that when they do get mad, that they're not enraged at you and wanting to throw hands or throw things, or that they're actually having a debate with you to solve a problem, not to start something, or be petty in the process. So that's the difference between a healthy relationship and a toxic one. So I just think that if I, like, say for instance, I have a boyfriend, husband, fiance, whatever, I'm just gonna say significant other, and I know that he loves to get his coffee in the morning right after he gets out the shower, and I know exactly how he likes to make his coffee, and I wanted to show him some sort of kindness just because I love him. I wake up with him or whatever, and as let's say he goes to the shower, and I wake up while he's in the shower. I'm gonna go put on a pot of coffee and make it for him, so that way when he's ready, the coffee will already be ready. So that's one less thing for him to do. That also could put a little pep in his step, because he's like, oh, she gave me my coffee or whatever, or maybe he doesn't even actually think of it like that, but he's like, this is nice. It helps me to feel good today, you know um or something I used to do to my ex-boyfriend. I used to write notes and give it to him on his lunch, so that way during lunchtime he'll have something really sweet to read. And it was just something cute, like we had text messages and stuff, but I I was working too. So, like, hey, I love you, smiley face. Can't wait to see you when you get home. Yeah, I'm a little
Men like stuff like that too.
yeah. I am a little cutesy. I don't do it to everybody, of course. I do it when I see commitment in some way, shape, or form. So, but yeah, like things like that. And in return, a lot of times the guy wants to, do things for you because that's how he shows that he cares about you, or he wants to give you a foot massage. I can't tell you how many of those I got just because I was giving out letters. That was nice because I love massages. So, like, or he cooked me dinner a few times. Look at you just laughing because I said I love massages. Look,
Inside joke.
I know. I was like, me and you and Jasmine talk too much. Oh, we got a lot of those now. Anyway, the people who are watching, if you're watching and listening, hopefully you understand where we're coming from on that. Just
Yeah.
You got to sacrifice sometimes your feelings and what you want to do to make your partner feel more comfortable at home and loved, but don't sacrifice your sanity. That's a big one.
Also, I just want to talk just to the men for a second. And this is stuff me, I'm OG, I'm up, I'm 36 years old. I feel like, hey,
Go ahead.
it's true.
I know.
1987, 80s baby.
Yeah, you about to be
But
37.
but the thing that I come, maybe all women are in this, and you can maybe speak to if this doesn't apply to you. But when it comes to women, it's about the little things. Like, and it's little things on like a daily basis. And everybody has a smartphone.
True.
And every smartphone has notes app. Please learn your girl order at like Chick-fil-A and Starbucks and all this stuff. It will make your life a lot better.
Yes.
By just knowing those things. Because if you can surprise your girl with a mocha cappuccino latte,
that's some serious stuff right there.
along with her favorite, Chick-fil-A sandwich, like, it don't cost much. You might spend $20 on the whole thing, right? But she's gonna appreciate that because she's gonna know, like, hey, you thought about this. I didn't have to ask, and we all know that everybody gotta eat.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
I
like,
agree.
just like how your sports teams and your video games and stuff like that, like know your partner and understand your partner in that fashion to where you can help mitigate, because it'll come to a point to where even if she comes to you like, oh, I feel like you don't do anything to me for me. Well, like, you got this last week, you got that, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It gives you something to where you can be like, hey, like, no, I clearly love you. Like, I clearly care about you because I don't want you to die from starvation. Or,
Right.
I want you to enjoy a nice, iced latte. So, so that would be the advice that I would definitely get a man on that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you. Pause. I agree with you 100% on that. I also agree with that being done with anybody you care about, like anybody
Yeah.
that you have a close relationship with. I've done things for my mom where I'll just stop by her house. I'm like, hey mom, you at home? She's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, I'm coming by and I'm gonna drop off something, right? And it could be like, I've done flowers, I've done her favorite drink, I've done coffee. We all love coffee, like my mom and I. She does the same thing for me. My brothers, I can't do that to them as often because their schedules are all over the place and one of them doesn't live here. So it's a little harder, but I have done stuff like that for them in the past. Jasmine, oh yeah, I've done that for her a lot. Like one time she was like, "Oh my god, I don't know what I'm going to eat. I'm so hungry." And she had school. So, when she got home, it was going to be late. And I was already close by. And one of our favorite places to eat at was right across the street. So I went and got her a pita sandwich, and I got some Chick-fil-A fries, and I had a key to her car. So I just unlocked the car and I put a note on the bag. And oh, and it was Valentine's Day because she had a really bad experience or a bad situation happen. I know. Listen, no. But she had a really bad situation happen and she was upset. You so crazy. And the guy wasn't gonna get her anything. So, I was like, well, you know what? Fuck him. He ain't gonna get you nothing. Then I will, because until you find somebody that's gonna treat you like I treat you, like what I'm saying? And like in that way, like I don't want her to feel like she's not appreciated and loved, because she's actually really mushy, a lot mushier than I am sometimes. So those things matter to her. And I put did I do a flower? I think I did a little flower as well. I can't remember. Um, but she was like, "Oh my god, my best friend gave me food," and she loves to eat. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So I mean, nothing sexual at all. It's just everybody needs a smile. And everybody needs to know that they are appreciated and wanted. And she's also a single mom. That shit is hard. I know, I deal with it with her. This shit is hard. And they're teenagers now. And I'm little, ooh, they I love them, but damn, they difficult. Like yeah, it's difficult. Um, so that was sweet, and she's done that for me. So we should come to my house and have candy for me or something. Her and my goddaughter, because my godson doesn't like coming over here because he said it's boring because there's no video games. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? But anyway,
Mm,
so yeah, just stuff like that. People, I want y'all to remember you don't have to be dating the person. I mean, even though this
right.
conversation was about romantic situations on the 50-50 thing or whatever, but you really don't have to be in a romantic relationship with them. It could be your best friend, it could be your brother or your sister, your mom, your dad. It could be a coworker. It could just be someone that you just appreciate them for what driving you around places if you ride somewhere like an Uber driver or something. Everybody needs a smile on their faces and to know they're appreciated, because most people don't get it. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So, and I'm huge on that. I'm a huge love person. If I could feel that all day, every day, I would not have to worry about any other bad things that come with it, like especially romantic love. I would definitely just let go and just let it all happen. But I always got a guard up. It is what it
Yeah.
is.
It took me a while to like really get comfortable with like telling my friends, especially my male friends, that I love them.
True.
Because, you know, like growing up in the 80s and 90s, oh, you know what I'm saying? You know what they're going to say. And so I've learned, especially now, like my friends, my close friends, especially my close guy friends, like they're my brothers. Like I don't even call them my friends like that. Like those my brothers. I remember I call him my mentor. He's the only person to me that's like a big brother. I'm everybody's big brother, but he's the only person that's a big brother to me. And we worked together at Verizon, but I had never met his wife. I met his daughter like one time, but she was like, I think 8 at the time, and she's like 14 now. And so we all had to get together, and I had my little, it's a wood necklace that has it's like a little wood carving of Africa on it. And his daughter seen it. She's like, "Oh my God, that's so cool."